Come on. No, that's not no.
This is Sportscentre.
Hey, I'm Marissa Roberto, back from not a vacation, even though the staff of the show seems to think every time I'm not here I'm on vacation. I'm not. I'll let you know when that happens. And we start with some huge news, as Dubas has been hired by the Penguins as their new president of hockey operations, which oddly enough comes on the same day that the Leafs will introduce Treveling as their new GM. Don't worry, we're going to hear from him later in the show. In the 5 seasons Dubas was Leafs GM, Toronto won 221, 109, and 42, including the 2 most successful seasons in franchise history, as they hit the 115-point mark 2 years ago, and 111 points this past season. Their points percentage in his time as GM was .651, ranking 5th in the NHL in that span. But it's the playoff success that plagued him in Toronto, only reaching the second round of the playoffs once in those 5 years. Dubas spoke to the media earlier today and was asked about his conversations with Sidney Crosby prior to accepting the job.
What I wanted to be able to have a discussion with Sidney about was where he felt the team was at, but more than anything to be able to sit with him and ensure that he still that winning was the #1 thing for him, and it was very evident in talking to him that winning is his major focus every day. And I think that when you have people like that that are constructed in such a way that winning and the competitiveness that takes and the desire that takes to execute each day enters into the building, I think that can reduce the gap between the end of those players' careers and the next era of great hockey here, because that lifts the whole group and that lifts the whole standard. And when I talked to Sidney Crosby, it was very clear that his only intention and desire is to win. And that's what I wanted to hear, because I think that can have a massive impact on raising the level of the players that come in behind as prospects or younger players that we're able to acquire here in the next stretch. And that character of him, his character, and that of the group can reduce the amount of time that you're alluding to in the gap between what's now and what's next.
I mean, I liked Dubas. I did. I really liked him. Like a lot of Toronto, I liked him. But, it's understandable why he's not here anymore. The wait is finally over. Game 1 of the NBA Finals goes down tonight in Denver. We've covered almost every possible angle to this series in the lead up to tonight. So let's start with the spread for tonight's game. The Nuggets are heavy favorites, with the total set at 219. Now, before you run to your FanDuel app to smash the Nuggets because you think the Heat are tired coming off a 7-game series while Denver has been resting, just know this is nothing new for Miami. This is their 4th game 1 of the playoffs as a road underdog. Well, they've covered and won the previous 3 of those games. And it's not like they were close. They beat the Bucks by 13, Knicks by 7, and Celtics by 7. Don't worry, we'll have plenty on bets for tonight's Game 1 later in the show, as Wes Chang will join me in this very room where I'm standing right now. And you can watch Game 1 of the NBA Finals tonight on TSN. Coverage begins at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. A new era of Leafs hockey has officially begun. Yesterday, Treveling was named the 18th GM in Leafs history, and today he was introduced to the media and spoke for the first time as a Leaf. Now, there are plenty of whispers about the contracts of Austin Matthews and William Nylander. Now, the last time Treveling let a star play out the final year of his contract, the Flames lost Johnny Gaudreau and got nothing in return. Will that affect the way he approaches negotiations with Matthews, though?
You'll find from me, Terry, we're not going to get into any public discourse about contracts. Obviously, we know where these contracts are at. Austin is one of the elite players in the world. We're not talking about a good player in the league. We're talking about an elite player in the world. Getting to Austin is a priority, but outside of the contract stuff, #1 is just getting to build that relationship. It's not walking down and trying to arm wrestle about contracts. It's getting down and getting Austin getting a chance to meet him, but more importantly, having Austin get a chance to meet me, know what we're about, and just talk a little bit. So that's priority #1.
But what about the future of head coach Sheldon Keefe?
I think he's a really good coach. My view is determining whether a guy's good, bad, or indifferent. You have to work with him. You have to get to know him. So we're going to sit down and we're going to go through it. I'm coming in with no preconceived notions. I think Sheldon has done a lot of really, really good things. I look at how a group of really skilled players has gotten better at, in checking and defending and doing those things that you need to win. So we're going to sit down and we're going to have a thorough process and try to do it as quickly as possible and come to a conclusion.
Treveling also caught up with our own Gino Reda following his media availability and was asked about the core 4 and keeping them together.
One of the draws here is you've got elite talent. And you go, those 4 guys there, you just talk about them. You got Austin, you got Mitch, you got Willie, you got John. You look at the back end with Morgan, and then it goes from there. There's a lot of good players. Success or failure of our team cannot just be placed at the feet of 4 players. They're absolutely stars, and to whom much is given, much is expected. But this is about the Toronto Maple Leafs. It's not It's not about 2 guys or 3 guys or 4 guys or 5 guys and we all just get to sit back and they got to do all the heavy lifting. No, we got to protect them, we got to surround them, we got to help them, and that's what we intend to do. And
to watch the full interview with Gino, you can catch it on That's Hockey. Go to TSN's YouTube or just click the link below. We're just 2 slips away from puck drop in the Stanley Cup final, and the excitement has been building all around, as Florida and Vegas will be battling for their first Stanley Cup title, which marks just the 7th time 2 cupless teams have met in the final since the Stanley Cup became an exclusive NHL trophy in 1926. Speaking of the 7th time something happened, this is also the 7th time 2 coaches have met in the final in their first year with the team. Interestingly enough, the last 2 times this happened also involved Pete DeBoer, who came just 2 wins shy of doing it for a 3rd time as a first-year coach of the Dallas Stars. While we're on the theme of 7s, could we just take a moment to appreciate the beard growth of number 7 on the Panthers, Radko Gudas. So beside Brent Burns, there's a new chin sweater taking over the league. Also, that's a lot of 7s. George Costanza's unborn child would love this segment.
What is that, sign language?
7.
Now joined by Wes Chang to talk more NBA Finals. Wes, look at us in person like this.
Woo!
We gotta squish together. We're in this little room. Okay, Wes, give us one serious bet that you think we should jump on.
I'm just saying Miami's getting a lot of disrespect these days, even though Denver went 4-0 in the previous series, plus 2.5 in the series spread for the Heat. You can get that at minus 138 right now. That's straight disrespect. I'm going with that as my best bet.
What a steal of a deal. Okay, and what about a same game parlay for tonight?
Okay, we can't put a triple-double on same-game parlays, so we're just going to go Jokic 12-plus boards, 10 dimes. Then on the other side, we're going to go with Bam Adebayo, 4 dimes from him. We expect him to make Jokic put some work in on the defensive end.
You know what? Every time he speaks, I trust it, and so should you. Wes Chang, thanks for joining me in the flesh. Let's do this. Time now for my favorite segment, and definitely not Core Wins, Why We Love Sports Today.
Why we love sports today.
And yeah, we've seen soccer dribbling on the treadmill before, but not from a kid this good and this young. Hold on one second, you're telling me you saved the treadmill segment for me and not Corwin? Corwin's all about treadmill segments. Yeah, I saw this video previously and had the thought that I'm really sick of us showing kids that are just better than me at things, and this kid is definitely better than me, and probably you too, at soccer. And just to make you feel even worse, we explored his Instagram page and found he's a U9 player from Berlin, and his warm-up with the tennis ball is just as impressive. Are you absolutely kidding me? Yeah, okay, I get it, kid. You're good at stuff. Can you promo time? I didn't think so. That's all for today. We'll see you back in tomorrow, 3 No Pacific! Have a good one.